Hi everyone. I want to take a few minutes to go over some important concepts as far as positive communication. I'm going to go over a few techniques with you. And one thing that's important to remember is when we are dealing with young children, how we talk to them and how we listen to them determines, how well they listen to us. And some of the techniques that we're going to talk about, you can actually use with children and adults in your life. First of all, the most important thing is telling children what you want them to do. I think you've probably heard me mention this already, but every time we tell a child something in a negative way, they don't listen to it as well. Like you'll hear adults say, don't run, don't do this, don't do that. Well, in the child's mind, they kind of tune out the negative part. So in a child's mind, if we tell a child don't run, the only word they really hear is run. So what we have to work on is telling children what we want them to do, saying things in the positive. So instead of saying don't run, let's tell the child use your walking feet, hold my hand. Instead of saying don't touch, say look with your eyes or keep your hands down. Use your inside voice. And also, putting things positively helps children, listen better. And it sounds better instead of us always saying, don't, no, no, no. So this is a technique that you probably have to relearn, and you have to stop yourself, from telling the child, don't. And you have to remember, tell them what you want them to do. So the handout you're looking at will actually be in the resources. Okay, so another technique that we can use with young children, and also you can use this with adults, is using I messages instead of you messages. You messages, which I'm sure you're guilty of just as I am, put down someone, blame, or nag. They often contain the word you. So that means that the person's being attacked or insulted, or we're judging them. Like, for example, when you hear someone say, you should know better, a person or child who receives lots of you messages is likely to begin feeling bad about themselves. They're going to stop listening, they're going to try to fight back, etc. So what we want to try to work on and use appropriately is iMessages. iMessages are more effective and a respectful way of communicating feelings. iMessages describe how you feel when someone interferes your rights. iMessages don't label or blame someone. And believe me, when you're talking with someone and you start the conversation off with you're automatically going to close some doors. But when you start the conversation or the sentence with I feel, they're going to be a lot more responsive. So there's 3 steps to using iMessages. You're going to state specifically what behavior led to your feeling, state what you're feeling, explain the consequences of the behavior. So, for example, when I see you, blah, 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 I feel worried because someone could get hurt. So, for example, when I see you throwing something, I feel worried because someone could get hurt. So, again, this is a technique, that you should use with children and also adults in your life. For example, couples who go through marriage counseling, that's one of the first things that a counselor will say is quit using you messages. Because, again, it puts up that wall of defense and the person's less likely to listen to you. So that's another method to communicate with young children. Okay, so another method of positive communication another method that we can use in positive communication is listening, active listening. Active listening lets the person know that you are listening to what they are trying to tell you. And there are certain techniques that we can use to this. And I'm going to put this up in the resources. I want you to make sure that you go through all of these situations. sometimes we're so busy listening, so to speak, to children, what we're going to say to them back in return, that we don't actually listen to them. So this has information about active listening, and make sure you go through this and look at the scenarios is for active listening. Okay, so one last technique is reflective listening. Reflective listening is a little different than active. Active is just letting the child know, hey, okay, I'm listening to you. Reflective listening helps you understand how the child is feeling and can help your child tell you how he or she feels. Because, as you know, children don't have the vocabulary that we have, and sometimes they don't really know exactly how they're feeling. So reflective listening helps us give them the skill to help them, tell us how they're feeling. So reflective listening has a formula kind of like Imessages. Your blank for or because sounds like your, you seem blank, it seems like you are feeling, looks like you're feeling sort of blank. So here's some examples. You're upset because Bobby took your favorite toy. It's hard when others take things away from you. You're angry with me because I would not let you go to Sarah's house. You seem sad today. Sounds like you're frustrated. You're feeling sort of discouraged about math. Looks like you're feeling sort of unhappy today. So these techniques, again, we're helping the child reflect back to how they're feeling, or helping them to identify their feelings. So following up with reflective listening is sometimes we have to help children find the right words. We have to give them a vocabulary of feeling words. As children are growing, they are learning a great deal of words. And sometimes words start off simply just happy, sad, mad. However, as they get a little older, we need to give them vocabulary so they can tell us specifically how they are feeling, and they can talk about how they're feeling. So, as you see here, there's words that we can substitute for upset. And there's words that we can substitute for happy, because sometimes when we use the word upset, it may communicate to the child that we don't understand. And so we want to be more specific with them. And then sometimes, yes, the child's happy, but it may be that they're more excited or they're proud. There's a difference between being proud and being happy. So as teachers, we want to help children find the right words. So hopefully you've learned some techniques to use with children to help guide them, because that's what we're here for, to help guide them.